Senator Francis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is for the Chair of the Committee on Rules, Procedures and the Rights of Parliament, Senator Bellemare. Senator Bellemare, I'm just wondering if you could give us an update on the work that your committee has accomplished and intends to accomplish during the current session.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Senator, for the question. Look, we have done some work since the committee was founded, began its work during this session. We're currently compiling a list that could be of interest to the committee members and to their group as well. And this has been a fairly long process. We established the list, and we hope to be able to get through it. We're starting with fairly simple subjects, that is, questions that weren't contentious. So far, we have tabled 3 reports that were adopted, except one report, which has yet to be approved, and we'll be wrapping up our report 4. Reports, first of all, we elected the interim chair and established rules so that we can establish rules for that person's election. Our second report was on the significance of objects, outfits, or ceremonies related to the First Nations. We reported on that to be able to open the rule so that objects that weren't recognized in the past could be. Our third report was on the committee mandate. We carried out what I'd call stylistic mandate of the wording of the committee mandate. In the rule, there were descriptions of various kinds. For example, committees that were described by theme or subject that they could examine. Other descriptions were more general in nature, committee descriptions, that is. We looked at the different styles of committee descriptions so that we could have a general idea of mandates that could be undertaken. The rule provides that all referrals must come from the Senate in particular, and that for that reason we didn't need to have a limited list of subjects to be examined. That report was tabled and carried, and in that report we had a question of the title, that is, the committee will now be called the Committee on Indigenous People rather than Aboriginal Peoples in English. And our fourth report, which has yet to be adopted, concerned a special senatorial committee on human capital and the labor market. During our study for that report, we heard various presidents or chairs of and ex-chairs of the Transport Committee and Transport and Communications Committee. We understood that there's an area that is understudied in the Senate, and that has to do with human capital, the labor market, employment, and that field needs to be studied. For the time being, the committee has not been created because there are some worries about our ability, our current financial ability, that is, and resource ability at the Senate to be able to have that committee conduct such work, but we'll come back to that soon at the Regulations Committee rather. We also examined the regulations to correct the wording in some places at the request of committee clerks. the wording either didn't reflect Senate practices or the wording was simply outdated, and we standardized the wording. You'll receive very soon a report on this matter. Last November, we also worked very hard to see if we could find agreement on the motion regarding equity between the various groups. Senators Wu and Tanis, one moment, please, Senator. The question concerned the activities. The activities. Those were the activities, and we'll continue our work.
Merci beaucoup, Senatrice.
Thank you, Senator.